Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Thursdays with Tracy. My name, of course, is Tracy, and I'm joined here early by Theus. I got a couple of announcements to make. So, if you haven't heard, I cannot go live on my normal Tracy media page. But guess what, YouTube? I have 15,000 Gmail accounts, so I went on my other one. So, for the next couple of weeks, we'll be here until YouTube decides to remove my strike, non-strike. And I'm going to talk about this story because I'm really ticked off about it. But there is a lot to get to. And there's going to be, as soon as Marlon gets on, there's going to be a game that I want to do between the two of you. Just to kind of see who you all are going to do. And it'll be a new segment. So I want to talk about YouTube. So YouTube gave me a strike. I still don't know why. I was using a clip from something that Trump said. Of course, he was saying that the election was stolen. Hey, it was him saying it, not me. So I'm like, well, you need to remove that strike. It's not right. You should remove it. He was saying it, not me. So they were like, okay, we see what you're saying. So we're going to remove it, right? So I'm thinking, oh, I'm good to go. I can post videos. No. Now they're saying I have too many strikes. I literally don't know what to do. So I'm going to be here for a while.
You have too many strikes counting the strike that doesn't count?
Yeah, I'm like, how can I have too many strikes? If I had one, okay, I couldn't post for a week. But you said that, hey, this video wasn't in violation, so you removed it. But now when I go to post, you're saying I have too many strikes.
Yes. And apparently one is too many?
I have none. Technically, I have none.
Right. Because you have zero. Because
I have zero strikes.
1 minus 1 should be
zero. Yeah. Like, okay. What kind of math is y'all doing? So, I got YouTube, I know you watch it. I got a strongly worded certified letter heading y'all way because you can't get hold of them by email. Oh, that's just virtually impossible. I'm like, I found your address.
So. And they're so big that they ignore everyone. But so where is it that in the meantime we can get you?
It's gonna be on my Tracy M. Carson platform.
Okay. Also YouTube.
Yes, also YouTube. Yes. Because like I said, I got 18,000 Gmail accounts. I'm like, okay, you close that one down, I'll get you. And if they get me on another one, I got some more in the back. So, no, it's going to be on my Tracy M. Carson page right now. And then I'll still send like links because I still want people to subscribe to the Tracy media page.
Right. And make sure y'all go to the website so you can, follow there too. So, yeah.
Yes. Well, these live episodes can't be on my website right now.
No, but they can still follow your.
They can still. Yeah. That's right.
And link back to your recorded segments and also just show your support for all the work that Tracy's doing. It really helps.
Well, Theus is really using that Hoover vacuum this evening.
And we all trying to make it, and you out here trying to do good work. So
I'm like, how I'm gonna have a strike? You take it back. I don't have V0 now. I can't post.
Yeah, they're using that meta math.
You know what? And I was gonna go live on my Facebook page, but I don't have enough supporters on my Facebook page to be going live and telling everybody, "Hey, go over here."
Y'all heard her. So make sure you go to Tracy Media LLC on Facebook. And like and follow the page so that when it doesn't pop on YouTube, it will pop there. So
because you'll see it. Thank you. That's a good point. Okay,
I like that from Marlon.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff to talk about. I don't know where to start. We got a school shooting in Michigan. Stacey Abrams running for governor. Roe v. Wade pretty much is gone out the window. Joe Manchin acted like a straight up clown, but that's what clowns do. You tell me where you want me to start, because I'm just like,
I mean, you started in young, but I didn't even know. I don't know anything new about Manchin. So just a little background from me. Ever since that joke of an infrastructure bill passed, and it became not. I mean, we already knew what was coming. Like Manchin and Biden and everybody had pretty much made it clear where we were headed. But once that was done, I knew everything else legislatively was done. So I tuned out, right? So anything that Manchin and Cinema has done as of late, I have no clue because now I'm on my black agenda stuff. So yeah, you clue me in.
good was your post said that Manchin wasn't going to do a vote for the infrastructure until February?
Well, see what he had. This is from back before the infrastructure bill officially passed, right? He kept saying, um, "I'm all for discussing and debating the reconciliation bill, but not until next year. Not
Yeah.
until next year." Well, that was just me. For some reason, I probably saw his face or something, and it made me click. But I was like, "Yeah, he said not till next year," and so far, everything he has said is exactly what the party has done. He is President Mansion, right? He's like,
Wait a
you
minute. Can
can't
we
do
back
this,
up?
you
Wait a
can't do
minute. Wait a
that.
minute. Now let's back up these, because I'm gonna have to bring back what you said. When I called him President Mansion, wasn't I told I was being disrespectful?
Not by me.
Oh, you want me to pull out the
You
tape, don't
you
you?
can, because I think the thing about that was, if anything, it would have been a matter of how are we uh, casting it, right? So there's what I view presidential power to be, and Manchin, in my opinion, is playing speaker of, well, not speaker. What is it? Majority leader is what he's playing. Majority leader, and he's playing president, right? Because the president can manage messaging.
Right.
That's all he can do. He can't do nothing else, but he can definitely manage messaging. And Manchin has been the one who has controlled the messaging, and he's also been controlling the Senate.
Exactly.
So that's where I would, like tongue in cheek President Manchin, because Joe, that whole thing. But yeah, it's like the White House. You're going to touch on this when you get to the Kamala thing, but the White
Yeah.
House is playing its games. Um, and the Senate is so busy just trying to see what they can get out of their donors and play politics as usual, while the people they're supposed to be opposing are running unopposed. So I'm just thoroughly disgusted anyway. But my my game is a black agenda, black politic game. So I've already started my pivot to where I have other things to focus on that are more entrenched and long lasting than politics, until it's time to get back into that mess.
I actually was not going to talk about the Kamala incident, because I
Oh, my
thought
bad.
I was going to talk about the Ilhan Omar situation.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna go for it. Cause I'm gonna go on a rant.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Go
I'm
ahead,
going.
do that
I'm
one.
going. I'm gone. Why is she demanding an apology from that idiotic, dumb-butted, can't say nothing negative about Trump, Lori Boebert? Are you serious, lady? This is how I would have handled the whole situation. First of all, I'm not coming out here demanding an apology, because she's not going to give one. Why I'm going to ask you to apologize, and I know good and well you're not. That's off the table. This is what evil Tracy would have done. Evil Tracy would have held a press conference, and I would have said, Representative Bohart called me a jihadist and called me a terrorist. But it wasn't me that had a commercial with a shotgun threatening to kill Nancy Pelosi. It was her. Ask me would I have done it. I would have showed that commercial every single time. Every time I talked, I'd be like, well, she did this. Now, isn't that terrorism?
No, I agree. And I really like the way you just couch that, because that's really the only kind of effective way to do this. Because the fight is not equal.
Nope.
And if you leave everything to the political structure, you get what we have, which is when who was it that attacked AOC? Marjorie.
Gosar.
All right.
Oh,
Gosar. Yeah, Gosar is the
Gosar.
most recent one. Okay. So Gosar did the cartoon indicating the killing of AOC. Now, AOC, Ilhan Omar, and all the rest of them have been getting death threats like nobody's business. So this stuff is like crazy serious.
Right.
And the House was so well, they found an opportunity because everything's about money and marketing. So they found an opportunity to manufacture enough rage to take action against Gosar, right? Even though it's largely symbolic because
they haven't censored him yet, have they?
The Democrats did, I thought.
I did not hear.
Didn't they remove him from his? They
removed Marjorie Taylor Greene from her committee seat.
I know they did that. Gosar, I thought they also did Gosar.
He's, as far as I know, he's still sitting in his committee seat. I could be totally wrong, but
and like I said, I didn't follow it close enough, but I'm pretty sure he got removed from the seats because like the Democrats have the authority to do that because they run the majority. But the problem though is you did that less than 2 weeks before everything goes crazy about Boebert doing this against Ilhan Omar. So first you had a sexist attack and Nancy Pelosi was able to at least play the game enough to keep the heat on Gosar, right? Full media coverage on all the major networks, all that whole game. But here we go, and it gets back to this fake allyship that exists on the left. Now it's not about gender.
No.
Because it's Boebert against Ilhan. Now it's about Islam. And the American political structure for all the games it plays, it centers two things: Christianity and Judaism. That's it. So they were not going to come to the same vigorous defense of Ilhan Omar because now it's about Islam.
Yep, I'm going to bring Marlon on here. Because I got step 2 of what Evil Tracy would have done. Because and he did it. She did it twice. Boebert told the same story. She fake apologized once. Said, "Oh, I called her office and she hung up on me."
Yep. And then turned around and said it again.
Yeah, and then she was at another fundraiser, told the same lie again. I'm like, and said the same joke, exactly the same. I'm like. Yeah, I'm gonna bring on Marlon because Evil Tracy got some more stuff she would have did. Hey, Marlon,
brother Marlon.
Even Marlon wouldn't have took the phone call.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm not. You said what you said, and then you think I'm gonna get on the phone with you and talk.
Thank you.
Turn the other cheap mentality.
Well, see, I think it's a little different than that.
Yeah, did you hear what Evil Tracy would have done? Because I don't know if you... Okay, so basically, in summation, I would have said, hey, Evil Tracy, I'm holding a press conference and saying, well, she calls me a jihadist. She calls me a terrorist. But it wasn't me that held a gun and said I wanted to blow Nancy Pelosi's head off, and then I would have showed the commercial. That's step 1 of what I would have did. And I'd have kept saying it over and over and over again.
Yeah, because that's how we have to go about messaging if we were serious.
Yeah, and
if we were serious, we would do similar to what she did, where she played the voicemails and stuff like that. But that should be an actual campaign, like a marketing campaign, where it's like, this is the face of American terrorism and white extreme and ethno extreme, whatever term they want to use for it. But they should have had that and just keep running the tape. You have all these white people attacking the Capitol building. You have 5 police officers who died from that attack. You have commercials from Brian Kemp to Boebert to Marjorie Taylor Greene, all showing with rifles and guns threatening force and violence against people they disagree with. Like, you got to put that imagery out there.
right in front of them.
Instead,
oh, it's so sad. They should give me an apology, girl. Bye.
Well, see that part I'm not really tripping too hard on because that's how the game is played.
No,
no, I'm just saying that's how the game is played. As far as like when you're subject to other people's authority, which is the Nancy Pelosi mess that we can't pretend is not happening behind the scenes. But when she did the thing with the voicemails, that was her saying to me anyway. That was her saying, "Yo, they got us doing this thing over here. We're playing nice or whatever." But listen to what these people are saying.
Yeah, and what if the DNC were smart, if they were halfway smart, they would take those voice messages that she got with her permission, of course, and say, "Hey, we can't elect these kind of nitwits to Congress. Vote Democrat. Here we go. Boom. Yeah, that's it. That's all they would have to. They don't have to do nothing
and
else.
It's like it's so perfect. That's how you know because the people that the Democratic machine has are and I'll say it, they're way smarter than me. So if I see it, I know they see it. They're choosing not to do it a certain way.
Yeah, they can't not see it because I'm like, I just figured that. I literally just gave them a whole campaign strategy.
And I guarantee you they had that before you even thought about it.
And they're not going to do it.
For them, it's not about winning or anything because they represent the wider net of America, but they don't represent the wider net of America, right? Like their job is to pretend to represent us,
I care.
But their interests are for people just like them, which are already wealthy, insulated, second generation, connected, wealthy white elites. So they just basically play the role, but they don't deliver the goods, and they have no interest in it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the second step evil Tracy would have did. I got right on the airplane with my camera or smartphone or whatever you use to record people nowadays. And I got some people in her district who aren't too happy with her as a congressperson. I said, she doesn't even have a campaign. I don't know what she's for except for the Second Amendment. I'm like, I would get somebody that's not making enough money, a single mother that's struggling. I would get those type of people and say, hey, what has she done for you? Boom, I'm done.
The Democrats, they don't even care. I think that's the biggest part for me. They simply don't care because they have conceded the South and the Midwest to the Republican Party. They have conceded the quote unquote working class, which for them really just means white working class. But anyway, they've basically conceded these points when all you have to do is what you just said. And you take Ilhan's voicemails, you take Cheney's voicemail. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just focusing on the hate that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
They're going after Ilhan, anybody, even their own. So use all of that to show that they're not just attacking Democrats, they're attacking Republicans, they're attacking conservatives, they're attacking you. And it's just so straightforward and simple.
It's so simple.
But they don't care.
Yeah, I'm like,
they'll start doing this 3 months before the election. That's when
I'm like, hey, DNC, we just told y'all what to do. Now, y'all probably not watching the show. I understand. But, Marlon, we ain't letting you talk. I'm sorry.
If I'm not saying anything, it's because I really don't have anything to say about this point. Everything that we're saying right now will be used 90 days before election.
Yep, 90 days. Why did we win?
And then you're going to turn around and everybody will have the ability to go, no, that's not true. No, that didn't happen. No, that's not how it went down. No, it was taken out of context because it was a long time ago. And
yeah, the cycle is only a week long. You got 1 week to nail anything.
You have one week to pound this stuff in their heads over and over and over again until they sick of hearing about it. So when you do bring it up next year, it's still going to be like, yeah, I remember that. But no, you're just going to sweep it under the rug and everything else. And when it's time to bring it up, you already have a group of people who think the insurrection was fake, FBI, actors, BLM, which I've yet to figure that one out. You saw one black person that think Black Lives Movement had something to do with it.
And his butt's still in jail.
Yeah, he's still in jail. Like,
yeah, and he's still in jail.
No,
and
but
Tifa and everything. Bro. You still have this stuff going over and over again. You're gonna play it off. You're gonna let it fall through the wayside, and then you're gonna bring it up 90 days because you're gonna look at your poll numbers and figure out that you're losing. And now you're gonna make all these promises. You're gonna bring up all this.
I think it's even more cynical than that, Marlon. I think they'll wait about 90 days out because that's when they first think that it matters to even try to talk to the black, the brown, and the other communities. They'll leave all this stuff sitting out here because the Democratic establishment is obsessed with this mythological unicorn of a swing voter. Yeah. They will spend all their money, all of their ad time, all of their special little lobby people that they send all over the place to try to get these imaginary people to swing over instead of focusing on the people who actually deliver for you each year because they take us for granted. So they're like, hey, all they need is a nice show and some nice words, and we'll be able to string them along at least in one more cycle. And that's what they'll do.
And they're going to do the same stuff. I mean, I agree with you, but I know about the 90-day cycle that they do because it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like
that information right before you go to the polls. Remember this because that's what they do.
Right.
They already
and they
know
flood it and it's on repeat.
Yeah, they make you not want to forget it.
So they only do that because they think we're stupid.
Exactly. Exactly. They don't think we have internet anymore. They think it's only 5 channels on YouTube. I mean,
and they think that no one has the attention span. Well, no, not no one, because they give white voters a lot of credit.
They sure do. I'm like, really?
But the young vote, the black vote, the Latino vote, the Asiatic vote, not your crossover Asiatics, but the other Asiatics who get ignored all the time, the LGBTQ community, they think we're all just so emotionally driven that all they need to do is give us a good campaign blitz at the very end, scare us enough, and then we'll show up off of that alone because that's what we do.
Isn't that what I've been saying the whole time?
It is. We just disagree on what follows. I'm 100% with you on what they're doing. 100%.
No, we know what the action is. What we're saying is we don't want the actions again because this is the only way I can say it.
That was a fire truck you heard passing by my house.
Okay.
Yep, it was. I lived like 2 blocks away from a fire station.
Making sure that wasn't my house. There's a difference between picking yourself off the ground and digging yourself out of a hole. Democrats is going to put you on the ground. Republicans are determined they're going to put you in the hole. So you can get your little moral high grounds all you want to that I ain't going to do nothing for the Democrats because the Democrats ain't did nothing for me all you want to. They ain't did nothing for you, the Democrats. Republicans going to do something to you. Best believe they are.
Well, yeah, my contention is but I always will say they play on the same team, and my vote is for Sip.
Yeah, but they don't play on the same team.
In terms of corporate owner donors, they are on the same team.
They're on the same team there. Like I put it like I think I said this in another forum, but it's like the royalty is the corporate class. Okay, that's your kings and all those. But in order for royalty to exist, they need like the dukes and all of them below them that make sure the money moves, collects the taxes, make sure that the peons stay under control.
In their place.
That's your political class. Now, that political class is broken now into 2 pieces. You have a political class that serves purely the corporate donors. That's their whole purpose. And then they have another wing that is using their sway over the peasants to keep them subdued, to keep them numb, right? And so in that respect, they do work on the same team, but they operate differently. See, one side, the Republican side, it will actively hurt you. Actively. The Democratic side will actively not help you. Not the same thing. Both, or I mean, neither are your friend.
Both
of them work for the king.
Remember what I said, that 67% of America wants to progress in everything? Democrats is trying to find a way to appease that 67%. Without
really
screwing over their
without doing anything.
Without screwing over their donors. Yeah. That's Democrats.
Yeah. They got to serve the king.
Republicans are the ones that's try to work with the 34% of America.
Yeah.
And they're going to go out of their way. Not only are they going to go out of their way to make sure that they please the 34% of America, they're going to make it as if the 34 America is the majority of American wants and wishes and dreams.
And keep that 34% afraid of the other 60 plus. See, that's their game. So long as they can keep the powerful minority thinking that the powerless majority is a threat, those two teams will keep fighting each other, and they'll just rake the money in at the top. And the people at the very top, the corporate powers that be, will pay both sides and say, thank you, good job.
Now that part I agree with.
But what I'm trying to contend with is just that all of that aside, like that's macro, right? That's a game that is 200 years entrenched, and a game that is already working 10, 20, 30 years ahead right now. So if we're serious about this thing, then we have to strategize and make the right plans and build the infrastructure to change what the next 10 years will look like, but not forget that we still have to fight today. Like, we still right here in today. And if we say, you know what, bump it, I'm out. I said this to a dude on social media not too long ago. Cool. I don't agree with you guys who are really trying to make, in my view, a purely reckless approach, but I'm with you. So if that's where we're going to go, I just want to say we need to prepare to go there. We need to take over our schools. We need to make sure we can feed ourselves. We got to make sure that we can arm ourselves. We got to make sure we can take care of each other when we get sick. We got to be able to do all those things. Because if you're going to turn your back on the system will turn its back on you, and you're not prepared to survive that. Nope. So you're setting your own people up to be hurt worse because you don't like the moment. And that's where I don't know. I'm terrible at messaging, I guess, because that's not getting through.
Do you know what you're going to pretty much get with a Republican-led government?
Trump.
No. Great content on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to get. You're going to have lots of views because you're going to say every issue that they've done. But that's all you can do.
Well, Republicans have two
That's all
issues.
You can do. Until 2024, 2026, 2028.
We mess this up. Real talk. I mean, this is just me looking at the math of it all. We mess this up and we just basically say, you know what, we're so frustrated with being lied to and taken advantage of that we're going to essentially sit back and not be as engaged. Then who do you think is going to fill the state houses even more over the next 4 to 6 years? That'll be even more Republicans. Now, once that happens, what do you think is going to happen to the next census that happens in 10 years? Well, they're going to do everything they tried to do before where they had less power. Well, now they'll have all the power to make sure that they can screw that census all the way up. So now you won't even be able to fight in the future. The only thing you will be able to do is fight physically because politically you gave up the game. Because they have the right, they can make all your rules. They hold all of your Supreme Court, state and federal. They hold your Senate and your House of Reps, so they can write your laws federal. They hold the presidency as well. And they are able to lock in the gerrymandering even more than it is now, so that you don't have a voice in the electoral college. You don't have a voice in the census. You don't have it's done. Like, it's done. And that won't fix itself. But we're so busy looking at right now, and I look at it saying most people are saying we're not getting enough. And it's not an invalid argument. It's just, I don't think it balances out the other side.
You don't even have to go 10 years, Steve. If they get into office, which go about an argument, you sick or tired, you don't want to do nothing, blah blah blah, and everything else. You think it's hard to vote now? you really think it's hard to vote now? Them 11 hours standing in line is going to look like a cakewalk. Them 11 hours in line is going to be a fond memory.
Yeah, that'll be like the good old days.
That was the good old days.
Yeah, that'd be like, oh, we remember when we were standing out on just 10
Remember
hours.
when we was able to vote and then go home the same day? Boy, those was the good old days right there, boy. Woo.
Ooh, yeah. Remember when the polling location was open for 12 hours? Woo.
Man, remember when the polling was in the same city that we live in? Boy.
Yeah.
But everybody's so mad at Biden and Kamala Harris. All right, now they ain't the ones that's gonna get you.
Yeah, but Barnwell, you did get into my next subject. Is the disappearance of what I think is going to happen with the Mississippi crazy abortion law that, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure I know how the Supreme Court is going to rule. They're going to rule that Mississippi has the right to restrict women's access to the health care that they need. Now, I contend that we can avoid this whole problem by just packing the courts, which Joe Biden refused to do. Of course, we need legislation. That didn't happen.
You know what? He actually is packing the courts.
No, I'm talking about the Supreme Court specifically. I'm not talking about the lower courts. I'm talking about the Supreme Court specifically.
Yeah, here's my thing with that, and I'll try to be very brief, which is rare for me.
And it ain't going to be this time either.
Yeah, it's not going to be this time, but okay.
Fair enough. But we as the left, however you identify yourself on the left, always want alerts from crisis to crisis and then get mad when someone doesn't manage the crisis perfectly. Everything we're dealing with is a consequence of time that's already passed.
Yeah, now that part's true.
So we didn't take the Supreme Court seriously for the last 30 years.
That is absolutely true.
And so here we go. Not take it serious. The other side did. They won. As they say, elections have consequences. And now we're looking at Joe saying, why aren't you packing the court? And I'm thinking, Joe is, I don't know. I think he should pack the court because they stole 3 seats. 2, if you're being generous. But they're stuck on tradition. That's why the Supreme Court isn't being messed with, and that's why the filibuster isn't being messed with. And I'll end with this. If you think for a second, after all of the brinksmanship that has happened over the last 2 years, that the moment the Republicans get the Senate, that filibuster isn't gone.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have to worry about the Supreme Court. They're good. But the filibuster, that thing will be gone the first week.
Oh, yeah, if they win the Senate.
You know what?
We
disagree on that one. I don't think the filibuster is going to be gone.
No, because it's so drenched in racism that it's
I'm going to tell you why. The filibuster wasn't gone when Trump was in office, and they got every freaking thing that they wanted.
They sure did.
They didn't need to. They hadn't been threatened.
Yeah, they had the majority.
When the Republicans get threatened, they follow through on what you threatened them with. That's their history.
They're not going to get rid of it. They're not.
No,
because it didn't stop it. For something to be a threat, it has to be realistic.
Right.
It has to be something that could happen. Republicans, remember, does not play fair. If they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. Filibuster, no filibuster.
Parliamentarian.
Parliamentary. We ain't knew what the heck a parliamentarian was until Biden got into office.
We had no idea.
They was there when Trump was there. And they probably did tell Trump several times, no, you can't do it. Okay. Go ahead and sign that bill, sir.
No, they got him a couple times. They did. The parliamentarian popped up during Trump's thing too, and they fired them.
Yeah, they just fired him. They're like, okay, we're gonna get us somebody else. That's all you really. Yep, that's what you. That's what happened
under Trump. So the parliamentarian got in the way of the immigration bill, and he fired them. So the Congress fired them, but
they're not gonna get rid of the filibuster because
it's too drenched in racism.
As far as they're concerned,
it still works for them.
It still works.
Yeah, it's like and
let's just keep that 60
right.
thing.
Let's just assume. No, we're not going to assume. Let's just, in Tracy's pretend world, say the Democrats somehow lose the Senate, and it's now 60 Republicans and 40 Democrats, which means the Democrats would now have to use the power of the filibuster.
No, if it's 60-40, it's game over.
Oh yeah, you're right. If it's 50-50. If it's 50-50, I'll use a 50-50. And Kamala Harris would still be the tiebreaker.
Right.
Yep.
She would still be the tiebreaker, but we're going to say that Manchin and Sinema, they basically Republicans from my conversation I'm about to have. What I'm getting to is, when is the last time? I think the last time that the Democrats used the filibuster was when I was in junior high school. When I was in high school, and I was a junior. That was 1992.
Well, the difference is Republican, and I completely glossed over and missed this point a moment ago. And this is kind of where Marlon was hitting on. They don't have the same motivations as the Democratic Party.
No.
So the Democratic Party represents aggrieved groups. Like all the different groups on the Democratic Party are all aggrieved, except for the latte liberals. So it's on the Democrats' best interest to pass things. Big things, little things, whatever things. They try to pass things, right? That's what they do. Republicans don't have to pass it. They don't want to pass anything.
No, they don't.
So if they don't want to pass anything, and this makes it make more sense for me, Marlon. The filibuster is actually a good thing. They don't want to pass nothing, no way. They want to be able to say these guys are getting in the way, and that's what they'll do. And it works.
They're going to say it, and they're going to say it anyway.
And then
they can literally make a rule where the Democrats didn't say one word about it, and the first thing out of their mouth is, and they're trying to stop you. See how they try to get in your way and everything? We ain't open our mouths about it because we didn't care.
How long we been waiting on this magical healthcare proposal?
From Trump?
From any Republican.
From anybody.
Yeah, they got better ideas.
They had one since 06.
Remember that big book? That big old book that was supposed to get rid of Obamacare?
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Next week.
Yeah.
Next month, September.
It's coming in a couple of days.
Healthcare proposal never came.
Where do you think Mike Lindell got that idea about always pushing the goalpost?
Oh, that's how Colts work, right?
Yeah, but you got 2 years to push that thing. As far as it's coming next week, next month.
Mm-hmm. Infrastructure. Yeah. Donald Trump just got
4 years
when the infrastructure bill passed. He said, "No, I'm against every last one of you who voted for the infrastructure bill that we didn't even do." Like he's saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, it's like, man, you didn't do nothing for 4 years. 4 years you set up how he got elected. I'm still like not quite 100,000.
Because white grievance. He got elected.
Dude didn't know what an infrastructure bill
was. Yeah, it was like infrastructure.
Literally,
why do you think?
I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm serious about this. Trump couldn't put an infrastructure bill together because he really did not know what an infrastructure bill was.
But he didn't need to know what anything was.
He didn't have to know what anything was.
No.
He didn't understand the tax bill. He didn't understand the
he just did what he was doing.
They was too busy building walls and separating families and everything. They ain't worried about your little
And he outsourced the wall. Remember,
the wall was never built. A part of the wall was repaired, but never built.
Oh, and by the way,
he built a little bit of wall. He built like was it like 50 miles or some garbage?
3.14 miles of wall.
He did not build the wall.
That's what he built. He repaired 50 miles.
Right, he did repair a lot. But what I'm saying is like, but he remarketed, which is what he does. He rebrands things. But it was like his job was not to understand anything.
No, because he
His
clearly
job
didn't.
was to sell it. That's it.
And he did a bad job of that. I'm like, huh?
Well, he didn't do too bad a job, but
he didn't do too bad of a job.
He lost the presidents, he lost the Senate, he lost the House, he led a revolt, and he lost the election. He ain't do too bad when he's that popular. He's about to win it, and he's about to run again. And if history is any indication of the future, I know people don't like when I say this, but just go back and look at Adolf Hitler's path. When he tried to do it the right way, quote unquote right way, and go through the legal process, ultimately ended up losing, went into exile, rebuilt his brand and all his followers and all his scary people, and then he came back.
Yep, crazy.
And then World War II happened. So it's like history echoes.
Yep, because we never learn from it. We just keep repeating. The thing is right there in front of our face. We're like, oh, good, what? I forgot.
It would never happen again. Somebody.
Yeah, we would never let that happen.
I really don't think Trump is going to run.
I absolutely think he's going to run. His ego won't let him.
Here's the funny thing about it. Remember what I said, that his core people is shrinking? I wasn't doing that hyperbole and hoping and wishing and everything and ha, look, you losing people and everything else. Do you know who else was really happy that his base is shrinking? Corporate Republicans.
But here's the other thing about that.
They're going to piece of that base.
That's all relying on the polling data that we get. And polling data has been wrong for almost 20 years now. They haven't been able to accurately forecast anything. And people only say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, Republicans always come home. They always come home.
Yeah.
So when we looked at the data from the last election where Trump lost, he lost because the Republicans skipped his election and voted for every other Republican, no matter how terrible they were, down ticket.
Yeah.
They just were offended by him. But he's been gone for a while. And his image is already being sanitized because you're already hearing, well, he hasn't said much anything anyway. He hasn't said anything to embarrass anybody, blah, 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 blah. They're sanitizing him already. So when he comes back, it'll be like, do you remember how offended you were 4 years ago? Americans can't remember how offended they were 2 weeks ago.
Or remember what we had for dinner the other day. We'd be like,
y'all do realize Trump is still talking, right?
Right, but he's not getting. It's not the same.
He hasn't said the stupid. He hasn't said things. Yeah, but Marlon.
Stuff,
but he hasn't said, "Oh, let me grab women by their vaginas." He hasn't said something that vocal.
And he doesn't have any authority to really, like, right now. He's not. He's like old news to the media system.
Right.
So the only place he's getting constant media play is when he goes on far right stuff. Well, guess what? That's where his votes are from. OAN, Fox, and all those people. So he still appears over there. But he's been largely frozen out from the left media, which is what most of us consume, because he's just not doing anything new. Like, it's all reruns to us.
Yeah, like, unless he gets arrested, then we'd be like, oh, what there is.
Now we're focusing on Boebert and Green and stuff, because that's all CNN and MSNBC really is. It's like TMZ for politics. So if it bleeds, it leads, right? That's what they're doing. But all the while, he is still like churning these people up on the other side. They love this man.
And especially if they believe, they stole, like they had proof, but they stole the election from him. It was Cesar Chavez, who I think passed on many, 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 many years ago. But that's one of their theories.
Oh, you talk about Powell said something.
Then China somehow, if they believe any of that idiotic stuff, they're gonna vote for him. If they do, he is so running in 2024 unless There's only one way he doesn't run, and that's that if he's found guilty of all those charges that he's facing in New York.
There's actually nothing that says you can't run for office when you've been convicted or indicted. So he could still run then. I think pretty much the only thing that stops him is his health. If for some reason, because he's at the age where his health could turn on a dime. So,
and he ain't in the greatest shape of all time either.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, if his health dips to the point that they can't hide it as well, then he won't run then, because one thing he won't allow himself to do is look weak.
But if he gets convicted or found guilty, he's not gonna run because somebody gonna be like, "Look."
Why not?
Somebody gonna be like, "Look,
they were
don't
out to get
run."
him. They were out to get him.
Yeah,
that's true. The system is rigged. The deep state.
Yeah,
they've been on a witch hunt for him since he came down the escalator. I mean, that's already ready. You know what I'm saying? That's there.
Remember the Russian probe, and that was fake, even though you the only person that read the book that said it wasn't fake.
Jesus came to save the world, and what did the world do? It turned on him, right? That's the narrative that they use for this man.
They already got the stuff set up.
That's what we keep saying. He probably gonna run in 2024.
Unless he gets sick or he's literally locked up. And America, I'm gonna tell you this:
we don't lock up presidents.
We ain't putting on.
We're not putting no president in jail. I don't care what party. No. Because here's why we not. Okay, let's just.
I know. I've been saying I wish America would stop saying they lock up Trump. You're not putting.
You're not because wait a minute. You gonna have Secret Service in jail with him because you know where he goes. Secret Service gonna go for the rest of his life.
The current president can remove Secret Service protection from a prior president,
but Biden's not going to do that.
He would if he got put in prison. But the problem is, you put. All right, this is purely hypothetical because, like I said, ain't no way they're going to put a former president of the United States in prison.
This ain't no Salvador.
Yeah, this isn't France. This isn't.
Yeah, they put their presidents in jail. I'm like, yes, that's how you do it. We just be like, oh well.
America has always held itself to be something different, and they don't follow nobody else's rules. So, yeah, it would take literally if he got convicted and sentenced
and lost the appeals.
Right, that would take a sitting president to say, I'm stripping Secret Service protection from a president. Could you imagine that one?
The backlash.
That would I thought you were going to go somewhere completely different.
Where?
Go ahead and you put a president in jail. You have opened up Pandora's box for any president that's unpopular to anybody. Because if you're going to put presidents in jail, then we're gonna start going back and looking at Bush, who everybody done called
but you have statute of limitations,
a war criminal who got everything you do right from this point. If you put Trump in jail, you have opened up Pandora's box for any president that's unpopular or did something wrong, or God forbid that we do have to go to war. And it's I'm stretching when I say this, okay. It's a legitimate, we need to go to wars type situation. You open up Pandora's box for any president afterwards that could be prosecuted.
And it's already a given.
They did something wrong.
It's already a given that at some point, if the Republicans take over the House, just take the House. If they take over the House, guaranteed Biden gets impeached.
Yep, got it. And they're going to restore Marjorie Taylor Greene to her.
They're going to restore all of them.
All of them.
They're going to impeach Biden out of
spite.
Yeah, to do it because they can, and that's how they play.
Yep, they're going to just do it for what reason? Well,
because you
it don't matter.
And he wasn't.
You could go look at this. They're going to impeach him. You're going to go and you're going to basically just listen to them talk all day long.
All day.
They're not going to say anything that you ain't already heard.
Benghazi all over again.
That's what, yep.
That little computer going to pop back up again that nobody seems to find. And that's all this
Hunter's
stuff.
laptop.
Hunter's laptop is going to show back up again. They know nothing's going to come from it. We know there's nothing going to come from it. But they're doing it out of spite.
It's all about.
And why do I say that? Because they already said they was going to.
Yep.
They're going to.
They petty. They're the petty party.
No, it's not petty. They literally said.
No, that's petty. Okay.
She said it. When we take the House,
no holds barred.
No holds barred, and we're going to impeach Biden. She said that.
She said it, but what reason?
It don't need a reason.
That's why I say they're petty. I'm like, that's a petty.
No, what I'm saying, it is petty, but it's worse than that. It's strategic.
Yeah,
it's effective.
Yeah, it's effective
because it's not America is at a phase in its whatever progression that it's all about celebrity in the show. No one actually wants someone to govern. They want someone to champion their grievance. That's all America wants right now. That's why we're looking seriously at celebrities being presidents and senators and stuff like that, like Dr. Oz and stuff like that. You know, we had a Schwarzenegger as a governor in California. You know, we are so wrapped up in entertainment that entertainers have more credibility than politicians who have studied the craft their whole adult lives. So it's not about what's right, wrong, or indifferent. It's about the story. Can you build me a good story?
Yep.
And can you go after the people that I feel like need to be going after?
Yep. But we're going to get to the last subject. And then I got my big announcement at the end. Stacey Abrams has decided to run for governor. Now, I'm going to say this for me. I'm not the greatest Stacey Abrams fan in the House. However, what she did for voting rights and to take Georgia from red to blue, I can't hate on it. I mean, absolutely, it's because of her work that turned Georgia from a red state to a blue state. Here comes my however. Kemp, current governor, and you can correct me, Thea, because you live in Georgia. Kemp is the current governor, right? That guy is a bona fide cheater, pumpkin eater. I mean, he literally, I know DeSantis makes me want to throw up, but he makes me want to throw up and gag. And I hope I'm wrong, I don't see how she's going to beat him. But you live in Georgia, and I don't, so you can tell me how wrong I am.
No, you're not wrong. I just think that the only way for her to win is to overwhelm the system, like she did for 2020. Her and other groups like Mondale's groups and all the other groups, they overwhelmed the system. As much obstruction as Kemp and his people put in place, they overwhelmed it, right? That's difficult to do now. And this feeds back to what Marlon and I were hitting on early. Because while we're all belly aching and crying, the other side is working. So here in Georgia, the state legislature now has the authority to put the people in place to overrule the Secretary of State. Here in Georgia, they already started carving up the election districts. They're able to move polling places, close polling places, combine polling places. So all while the infrastructure has been corrupted, Fulton County, major county here in Metro Atlanta, and Atlanta is the big fighting block in Georgia as far as if you want to swing this thing out of the red. Fulton County has been taken over by the conservatives and the Republicans, and they're continuing to try to undermine it now. And guess who overwhelmingly lives in Fulton County? Black
people. Yep.
So all the mechanical pieces that make an election happen here have already been corrupted and are being cemented. And she now has to go up against that. So my point always comes back to what we do right now still matters because it's what's going to affect the ground you fight on next round. So yeah, she literally would have to overwhelm the system through turnout. And with the things the Republicans have done to cripple that access point, coupled with people on the left who only complain and cry about what's wrong, where are you going to get the turnout?
That's what I keep thinking. I'm like, ooh. And in Georgia, is if you're voting, it's illegal to get, like you've been saying there all day, it's illegal, right, to give somebody water and food and things, right?
Once they get in line, yeah.
See, yeah, okay.
But that's the smallest part. Like,
I know that's a small part, but I'm thinking
it's a slap in the face. It was the part that like kind of jabs you in the eye, saying
like,
not only are we going to steal
it was a petty move.
Yeah, now that's petty.
Yeah,
that's super petty. Because somebody's gonna break the law on purpose. I'll be like, I'm selling it for a penny. I sold it.
No, what's going to happen is you're going to have people with truckloads of water and everything else parked just outside the line, so people have things. But the thing is this: yeah, you got water. What if you got to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, can't lose your place in line.
They did that part because once again, messaging is what matters. They knew that putting in something that silly, it would get all of the attention, and instead of it got all the attention, and aside from all the other stuff,
and closing down the polling places.
They're gonna have to fight this.
This is gonna be a
for
hard
her to
one.
win. She's gonna have to fight it on two fronts, and one of them one is just like Thea said, they're gonna have to overwhelm the system. The other one is they're gonna have to overwhelm the courts, and they're doing that now. I just hope they don't stop. But I said this when the news came out is, okay, she's out, she's governor and everything else. That's a nice little thing. Now, is it going to be a story that's going to carry into 2022? Or is this just going to be a blip again until we get close to election time?
And just because, let's just say she did win. Let's just out of the blue, she wins. What about the House and the Senate? Are they still Republicans? Well, because if they are, what is she going to actually achieve?
So she can veto things.
Yes, that's true. So she can also get overrode, right?
She can if they have enough members to do it. So there's always that threat. But at least she can show the fight, and she'll have the bully pulpit and all those things. But that goes into what we were saying. Man, I hate to keep beating the drum, but it's like we are complaining about the wrong things when we're looking at what we want. You know, like she runs for governor. She wins governor because she has enough star power to do it. But the House and the state House and the state Senate are still overwhelmingly Republican.
Right.
So they give her the blues the whole way, and they shut her down just like the federal House and Senate does to the president, because it's the same structure.
Yeah, it's the same structure, right.
So you have that. And then what will we get? We will get people on the left, because I'm not worried about the people on the right. People on the left. Well, look at that. We got her in the governor's seat, and she ain't doing nothing. She ain't delivering nothing. I still ain't got nothing. So we'll just blame her now. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing we're doing now, we do to her.
And then do the same thing. And then do the same thing you always do. Oh, so who did you vote for lawmaker? Oh, I don't even know. Oh, okay. Well, who's Secretary of State? Well, it don't matter. She's the governor.
Yep, same thing. All you got to do is switch the names.
Yeah, but there's a difference, though.
No, there's not.
Difference.
Yes, there is. What's the difference?
Yes, there is. The difference is in the federal government, the Democrats have control. Not by much, but they do have control. They have control of the House. Mm-hmm. And if all the Democrats was acting right, they would have the +1 vote because Kamala Harris would be the tiebreaker. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. That's all I'm saying. There's a difference.
That's almost a difference without distinction, because the president still can't do anything about Congress.
No, cannot.
But everybody blames him. The Senate, even if all 50 stood in line, you'd be at 51. To pass legislation, you need 60. So you're right back where you were.
Yeah, so you got to get rid of the filibuster.
Right. So all of that none of it changes anything. It still comes back to people are going to blame the wrong person, and they're not going to send backup to change the map.
Because you got to vote for her and the Democratic down ticket.
And you have to be willing to vote for the Democrats even when they're disappointing you, because otherwise you'll never get closer to where you say you want to go. Yeah. If you know where you want to go is 60, I mean, I know that's a big number, okay, especially the way the states are set up. You say you want to change things, that means you need to get to 60. Well, if the Democrats are not performing the way they're supposed to, which they're not, so you are so disgusted that you're willing to just bash them nonstop, you're still going to show up to vote for the Democrats. I'm still going to show up to vote for the Democrats, right? Because we're political people. But the people who listen to us, who casually hear little things here and there, all they're picking up is they're both the same thing. So now how do we get a bigger number when they're all the same?
Yeah, but boy, that lends to cheap garbage Democrats. And that's where I'll just say it this way. I think that leads to just garbage. I'll say it this way. Vote blue no matter who. Kirsten Sinema is the result of it.
Oh, I disagree.
She is exactly vote blue no matter who. No, if I lived in Arizona, because I got 2 Republican senators, they both garbage. I don't care if it's a potato running. I don't care if it's a potato, a roach, a rat, a stick figure. I'm voting for anybody but Young and Brom. I don't care. Because I got enough sense to know, oh, well, those 2 are just absolutely garbage. I'll take any Democrat. I don't care. Locally. But, I get so tired of Democrats saying, well, we're not as bad. But it's like somebody saying, okay, the Democrats, they just have their knee on my neck a little bit. And the Republicans have their knee on my neck, but they push it down. Well, a knee is still on my neck either way.
This is absolutely true. But here's the difference, though. The one that's pushing down on you is making so you can't breathe at all. There's no opportunity for them to catch a cramp and fall off of you.
That's what I'm saying. I was about to make it real graphic. The Democrats got your knee in your neck. The Republicans are shooting you in the back of the head.
Exactly. So it's like,
so one you can't breathe, the other one you go die. You dead. Which one you feel better about?
Yeah, I know. I'm going
people
back
are tired
and
of
forth
that. I get that. People are so tired of that. And as those who want change, and I'm going to say it that way because there are people theoretically on the right who are just quiet because over there, speak up too loud, they might kill you. Okay.
Yeah, you go say something. They're not gonna find you the next day,
right?
Your own
people. Yeah, they clean house over there. Then on the left, they're just ineffectual, and they're all broken up, and we're all fighting each other. But vote blue, no matter who, is a slogan, and people are and we do this over and over again. We assign way too much value to slogans and marketing campaigns. We didn't like the term vote blue no matter who. We don't like the term defund the police. We don't like the term, you name it. There's some term that we don't like. But we agree with what it's saying as a long-term strategy to get us closer to changing the game. But we don't like the slogan. See, vote blue no matter who is a horrible slogan. But what it's basically tells me is until we get a deeper pool of Democrats in position, you vote blue no matter who, because the point of vote blue no matter who is to outnumber the red. That's it. That's your purpose, because it's a game of numbers. Once you get more, then you switch to vote blue depending on who. So now you start switching out players and you start drafting stronger players. But you're doing it from already being in a position of power. We want to switch players out and ain't got no power. So, yeah, vote blue no matter who. I don't like the way it works, but it's a catchy thing. It sticks in your brain. And if a novice or noob voter, they can hold that. An 18-year-old kid can follow that. Okay. A 40-year-old who's been through a few cycles hears that and they're like, oh God, lesser of two evils. That's what we hear, right? But if you're thinking long term, you remember that when you were the 18-year-old kid, if all of you guys had just voted blue no matter who.
Oh, no, you don't want to be a flashback. Because when I was 18, I voted for Ralph Nader.
Well, not you. You different.
You know what? You really want to go back to when I was 18? You really want to do that?
But do you see what the point I'm making?
I see the point you're making.
We need more players on the team before we start trying to get better players on the team. We're going to have corrupt Democrats. We're going to have corporate Democrats. We're going to have conservative Democrats. I don't care what kind of Democrats you got, really. You can have a whole bunch of Kirsten Cinemas out there for all I care.
Gosh.
If it pushes your margin to the point that those who want to do something might be able to do something. Like to me, if you want to do something about Kirsten and Manchin, then I would love to hear what you guys think about this. But decolonization, all these darn colonies that we have, it defies Christianity, it defies anti-colonialism, it defies the democratic spirit, it defies everything that even the right says that they support. So then you say to them, this is a matter of freedom. They should have the right to vote for statehood so we can end being a colonizing nation.
Yep, exactly.
What that does for us is whether they break red or blue, I'm pretty sure most of them will break blue.
Yeah, right? I'm pretty sure they will too.
Which is why the Republicans would never let it happen as best they can. But that's how you get rid of Manchin.
Yeah.
That's how you make it so Kirsten and Manchin don't matter. You add another 2 or 3 senators. That flips them out of being important.
That.
Yeah, but here's the only problem with that. DC doesn't have cars.
DC doesn't.
Holly literally said that. I'm like, boy,
but I think that's the wrong fight. I think as you're fighting for statehood, and this is me, right? Because I could be completely wrong. I think DC statehood sounds good. But from the way our nation is structured in the founding documents and all of that stuff,
it won't happen.
It's a hard fight to fight.
It's a hard one.
You'd be better off. It ain't that hard to fight. Puerto Rico, Guam, and all of that,
and Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
We have to
fight.
Not that I'm saying DC shouldn't get statehood, because I with y'all, because I used to do because I'm like, it's in the Constitution, but then I realized, Constitution is garbage anyway. So
yeah, I agree. I'm just saying there's an order to how you approach it.
They literally broke up North and South Dakota so they could take the House.
Yeah.
It was the same freaking state.
Remember, West Virginia and Virginia was one state. West Virginia and Virginia was one state. And then they broke off.
Deals they brokered so they could balance slave state and free state.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, just piggybacking on Thea's is, when the same thing is overwhelming the system, although I'm talking about federal now, not voting. If we had 55 instead of 50, do you think we were talking about Cinema and Manchin?
No, we sure not.
We're not paying attention to what they say right now. Cinema, I guarantee you, we had 55 up there. Cinema would tell you all the reasons why she's not voting for the bill,
and we'd be like,
why she not saying nothing now? She ain't got to.
She really don't have
to. Got to say a word.
If the numbers are like you said, she would vote for all the bills.
She sure would.
Because she wouldn't be getting the money.
She sure wouldn't. She wouldn't be getting money from her corporate interests flying on planes. But audience. This is the end of this show. But if you're my Patreon, you have a link specifically in your mailbox that you need to click for the after party. I'm headed to the after party. Actually, I'm in the room now. So I'll just wait for you all for about 5 minutes or so to hang out. But remember, please remember, for the next few weeks, we're here instead of my Tracy Media page. I've tried to tell everybody to watch over here, but apparently nobody's getting my messages to watch here. instead of the other page because YouTube has locked me out of that page until I get back on it. We're going to be here every Thursday. We'll see you all next week. I'm headed for the after party. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and go ahead, Theas.
Hey, did you see Susan's message to you?
Yes.
Okay.
She does not have Zoom.
I got to open up my Zoom because mine, I got to switch up the camera and all that, but I'll be switching over there.
Shoot. I'm going to be a little late. How did you
It'll take me just a couple minutes.
So
I gotta reset my camera.
I'm going to get out of this room, but Patreon, remember that link is in your email, so just click it, and I'll be there, and I'll see you all next week. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and support me on Patreon.
And Facebook.
Oh, and Facebook. Yes, and Facebook. All the links will be in the comment, in the description section. I'll see you all next week. Have a great evening, everybody.